let me tell you about a couple of interesting cases, and I think this might have some broader applications for some of the people in the listening audience, and that's why I share things like that, because it may be useful and give people some insight in the way that our immigration system works and oftentimes doesn't work, unfortunately. So, okay, case number one involves a person who applies for TPS. A woman applies for TPS. She gets her work permit. Then she gets a letter from immigration saying, the judge found that you filed a frivolous asylum application 10 years ago, and therefore we are going to deny your TPS. What a frivolous asylum application is, it's something very particular and peculiar to immigration law. It says that if you file an application for asylum, and the judge not only denies it, but makes a determination that you made a material misrepresentation, that you lied, you submitted some phony documents,
like
or
frauds.
some false information, that there was fraud. If the judge determines that you committed fraud and he really wants to slam you, he will make a finding that you filed what's called a frivolous asylum application. And what is the consequence of that? If there's a final determination that you filed a frivolous asylum application, you will be barred in perpetuity for immigration benefits from now to eternity. Oh, yes.
That's not good.
Now, it was interesting because this lady, my client, had a denial on her TPS, and they were talking about the judge, what the judge said. But when I investigated the case, I saw that she had appealed the decision to a higher court, to the Board of Immigration Appeals. And I ordered the file, I looked at the decision, and lo and behold, the Board of Immigration Appeals didn't say anything in their decision about a frivolous application. They said, yes, the judge was right in denying the application. We agree that she didn't establish eligibility for asylum. But they didn't say jack about the frivolous finding. They didn't say they agreed with it. They didn't say they disagreed with it. They were mute. The silence was deafening.
Okay.
Please translate word for word everything I just said.
Oh, right. Like I remember everything you just said.
Well, basically, let me just break it down. The Board of Immigration Appeals, they also denied the asylum claim, but they didn't say that she committed fraud.
Okay.
So now I brought that to the attention of the other appeals court, which is called the Administrative Appeals Office. That's where TPS applications get appealed to. And I said, look, that immigration officer was relying on just a fragment of what went on in this woman's asylum case. And what we need to be looking at was what was the final decision. The final decision was made by the Board of Immigration Appeals. And I said the Board of Immigration Appeals decision is not clear on the issue of frivolousness or not. In fact, they didn't even address it. They didn't say anything. And guess what? I won the appeal on the TPS. And now they're sending it back down, and she's going to get her TPS. She's going to get her TPS because a lawyer, a good, meticulous lawyer by the name of Mitchell Cohen, didn't just go by what the immigration officer was saying about her case. I independently investigated the facts, and that's what a good lawyer does. You need to really get down and do your own investigation. Don't rely on what the other side is saying what the facts are. You have to, really get off your behind and do some research and find out what the real story is. Because oftentimes, believe it or not, what is in the denial, what they're saying about your file, is not entirely accurate.
It's not what it all cracked up to be.
Just because it's in the denial doesn't mean it's in your file. Remember that. Just had a Johnny Cochran moment, though. Almost. Not quite. Not even close.
No.
Okay. All right, folks.
I have a question
Yes.
on that. Okay. You know how like some people would go to